Welcome! Today, we are cracking open an ancient text to figure out something really fundamental. Why do we get stuck? Why do we keep running in the same circles? Turns out, a 2,500-year-old teaching has a surprisingly deep answer and maybe a way out. I mean, you've been there, right? It feels like you're on a treadmill that you built yourself. It could be that same frustration that pops up at work, or a worry that just won't quit, or a habit you swear you'll break tomorrow. But what if the chains holding you there aren't actually what you think they are? So our story kicks off with a monk named Mahāmālukyasutta. He was a student of the Buddha, and let's just say he was pretty confident. He was a good student, he did the work, and he really thought he had it all figured out. But, and this is a big but, his confidence was hiding a really critical misunderstanding. Okay, so picture this. The Buddha poses a question to his students. He asks them about the 5 fundamental chains or fetters that keep us tied to suffering. And Mahāmālukyasutta, the eager student, practically shoots his hand up, ready to give the answer. And you know what? At first glance, his answer seems totally right. He lists off the 5 fetters: having a fixed idea of yourself, doubt, getting caught up in rules and rituals, sensual desire, and ill will. I mean, it seems like he aced the test, right? Well, here's where the story takes a turn. The Buddha immediately challenges him, and he reveals that just knowing the names of your problems isn't the same as understanding their true nature. See, Mahāmālukyasutta's mistake wasn't in the list itself, but in how shallow his understanding was. So, to really get the depth of this mistake, we have to look at this text in a new way. It's kind of like we need 2 different keys to unlock what's really being said here. So the first key is what we'll call the modern key. This gives you the straightforward dictionary definition, clean, simple. But the second key, the ancient key, now that's where things get interesting. It goes way deeper. It looks at the word's original intention, its atta, and the actual linguistic context, the nirutti, of how people used it back then. It's the difference between just knowing a word and really feeling its weight. Okay, so with these 2 keys, we can finally unlock what the Buddha was really getting at. And let me tell you, it's something that's working on a much, much deeper level than our day-to-day thoughts or feelings. The Buddha uses this brilliant analogy. He asks, think about a newborn baby. Does a baby have a conscious identity view or feel ill will? Of course not. A baby doesn't even have a concept of me. So if these chains aren't even there at birth, how can they possibly be the fundamental root of the problem? And this gets us to the absolute heart of it. The thing our ancient key reveals, the real issue isn't the active thought. It's the anusaya, this latent, underlying tendency. Think of it like a dormant seed of anger, not the anger itself. It's this deep, buried potential just waiting for the right conditions to sprout. Here's a great way to think about it. The fetter is the big, active fire of anger you can see and feel. But the anusaya, that underlying tendency, is the hot, glowing ember that's left after the flame is gone, just ready to burst back into flames. Mahāmālukyasutta was looking at the symptom. The Buddha was pointing straight to the root cause. All right, so let's try out our keys on that very first chain, Sakaya Ditti. With the modern key, we get a pretty simple translation, identity view. It sounds kind of academic, right? Like a philosophical stance you might take. But then we use the ancient key, and wow, it reveals something way more profound. Sakaya literally means existing collection, and ditti is view. So it's not a belief in your head, it's this deep, gut-level feeling we have of constantly grabbing all our fleeting thoughts and feelings and forcing them into a solid, permanent thing we call me. And this is so important. We're not talking about something you believe intellectually. It's a subconscious, deeply ingrained psychological habit. It's that automatic process of looking at the river of your moment-to-moment experience and trying to freeze frame it into a statue of me. That's the deep tendency at work. So if the problem is this deep, this automatic, how in the world do you even begin to solve it? Well, the Buddha offers another really powerful metaphor to show us the way. He compares this inner work to cutting down a giant, ancient tree. You can't just walk up and knock it over, and you definitely can't get to the strong, dense core, the heartwood, by just scratching the bark. There are layers you have to get through first. And this gives us a fantastic roadmap. The bark, that's our surface-level beliefs, what we think the problem is. The sapwood is our active habitual patterns, those visible fires we see every day. Only by cutting through both of those can you finally get to the heartwood, the anusaya, those deep tendencies that are the real source of the tree's strength. And the text is crystal clear about this. Trying to get rid of these deep tendencies without the right tools and the right method, the maga, is just impossible. It's like trying to chop down a giant redwood with your bare hands. You need a real plan, a systematic approach to ever reach that core.
Okay, this brings us to the final and maybe most powerful analogy in this whole teaching. It's all about who can actually make this journey. It's a story of two people standing at the edge of a powerful, raging river. So this river is the powerful current of our own underlying tendencies. The weak person hears the teaching, but it doesn't really land. Their mind doesn't leap up. They try to cross, but they just get overwhelmed and swept away by the force of their own unconscious habits. But then you have the strong person. And listen, this has nothing to do with physical strength. It's about a state of mind. It's a mind that is ready, a mind that leaps up when it hears the truth. It's a mind that's finally willing to see things exactly as they are and is ready to be free. And this is the text's really inspiring conclusion to the whole thing. That strong person, the one with the courage and the readiness to face that current head-on, that's the one who makes it to the other side, finding freedom from those powerful currents once and for all. So in the end, this ancient teaching isn't really just about a monk's mistake 2,500 years ago. It's a challenge for us right now to look beneath the surface of our own lives. It's telling us that real freedom doesn't come from fighting the flames we can see, but from finally understanding the embers smoldering deep inside. And the very first step is just to see them. So the real question is, which of your own chains are you ready to see?